soldiers, caught in the midst of intense combat, quickly took refuge in a nearby house to save their lives. The house was one of the few structures that had remained standing amidst the surrounding devastation, and the soldiers hoped it would offer them temporary protection. However, Ukrainian forces detected the soldiers entering the house. Ukrainian drone operators swiftly took action. They planned an attack on the house, directing a drone loaded with high explosives towards the target. As the explosive-laden drone struck the house, a massive explosion ensued. The house was completely obliterated by the force of the blast. Walls collapsed, debris was scattered, and thick smoke rose into the sky. A Russian vehicle, resembling a civilian truck, had taken a brief stop on the road. Ukrainian drone operators quickly sprang into action. A drone advanced towards the vehicle, and when it was in the right position, it released a bomb. The bomb landed directly on the vehicle. A massive explosion followed, engulfing the vehicle in flames. When a Russian soldier noticed a Ukrainian drone appear in the sky, he panicked and started running with all his might. Understanding the threat, the soldier desperately tried to escape, but the Ukrainian drone was relentless. The drone locked onto its target and pursued the soldier at high speed. No matter how fast he ran, the drone was determined to catch him. Finally, when the drone was at the right distance, it released its explosive. The explosion occurred right behind the soldier, throwing him to the ground. Severely injured by the blast, the Russian soldier was left unable to move. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone, carefully moving through the ruins, detected a Russian soldier hiding among the collapsed structures. The soldier was camouflaged by the surrounding debris, but the drone's advanced sensors managed to pinpoint his location. A drone was sent and detonated. The explosion resulted in a loud noise and intense flames. The soldier was severely injured by the blast. The Ukrainian drone hovered high above the area where Russian soldiers were located, maneuvering rapidly. The drone hovered close to the soldiers, almost taunting them with its movements, constantly circling around them and drawing their attention. The soldiers tried to understand the drone's actions, but it was unclear when it would strike. The drone continued to annoy and disturb them, testing their patience. Eventually, the drone's patience ran out. It approached its target and dropped the explosive directly onto the soldiers. The explosion resulted in a loud noise and intense flames. The soldiers were thrown around, and the area was enveloped in thick smoke. This bold and effective attack once again showcased Ukraine's proficiency in drone technology and strategic intelligence on the battlefield. Amidst the bushes, a carefully camouflaged Russian military vehicle had become a target on Ukraine's list. An explosive drone was dispatched and silently directed towards the target. The drones, having reached a strategic distance to precisely aim at the vehicle, fired their explosives from designated points. The explosion created a heavy noise and flames. The vehicle was violently thrown into the air, metal debris and burnt wreckage scattered around, and a dense cloud of smoke rose. The Russian military vehicle hidden among the bushes was rendered ineffective by the successful attack carried out by Ukraine. A group of Ukrainian soldiers, eager to test their new generation explosives, decided to use their specially developed drones for this purpose. These explosives, combining modern technology with innovative munitions, had the potential to create a significant impact on the battlefield. Ukrainians' experienced drone operators mounted these explosives onto drones and directed them towards the targets. After identifying Russian bunkers, the drones were flown directly over the bunkers. The planning and coordination were executed perfectly. When the drones reached the designated points, they released the explosives. The resulting explosions were extraordinarily large and destructive. Each explosion occurred with intense noise and flames, causing severe damage to the bunkers. Walls collapsed, debris scattered, and a thick cloud of smoke rose into the sky. These successful trials demonstrated that Ukraine's new generation explosives have the capability to alter the course of the war. Two Russian soldiers seeking cover on the battlefield took refuge in a small building. Ukrainian reconnaissance teams detected their presence and acted immediately. A high-explosive drone was dispatched towards the building. The drone approached the building and released its powerful explosive. The explosion was accompanied by a tremendous noise and completely destroyed the building, causing severe damage to the soldiers inside. A cloud of smoke quickly enveloped the area after the blast. One of the surviving soldiers fled to another shelter. Ukrainian drone operators, noticing this movement, targeted the new shelter. Another drone reached the new target and dropped its explosive. The explosion at this shelter led to massive destruction, leaving the soldiers' new refuge obliterated. Following the successful destruction of the second shelter, Ukrainian drone teams shifted their focus to other potential targets in the area. They methodically targeted nearby shelters, conducting effective attacks. Each shelter was sequentially destroyed by successive explosions, leaving the region covered in dense smoke and debris. The sequential and targeted explosions effectively blocked the escape routes for the Russian soldiers, inflicting significant damage on them. Ukraine has made a significant advancement in warfare technology by developing a new generation of guided and fast drones. These drones are equipped with superior speed and precision capabilities, capable of neutralizing even the fastest military vehicles. Ukrainian engineers and technology experts moved forward to test the performance of these new drones. Russian military vehicles were selected as the first targets. The drones, equipped with advanced sensors and targeting systems, were capable of both high-speed movement and carrying powerful explosives. During the tests, the drones pursued Russian military vehicles. The drones were strategically directed to consider the vehicle's speed and maneuverability. After catching up to the vehicles and moving swiftly to designated points, the drones effectively deployed their explosives. The massive explosions severely damaged the vehicles, rendering most of them inoperable. Ukrainian drone operators have developed an effective strategy for every visible target on the battlefield. They continue to target every hole, every shelter, and every potential objective with bombs. This strategy, which leaves no opportunities for Russian soldiers, is proving highly successful. Throughout the day, Ukrainian forces are ramping up their production capacity, continuously producing new drones. These drones are equipped with high explosive capacities and are notable for their precision targeting. Each new drone effectively bombs Russian military vehicles, buildings, and shelters. Ukraine's intensive drone usage has established near-total control over the battlefield. Every vehicle, every building they see, is destroyed by drone attacks. This comprehensive and relentless approach is putting immense pressure on Russian forces, leaving them with virtually no respite. There was excellent news from the Donetsk direction, namely the fighters of the Shadow Unit carried out a successful ambush on a Russian convoy consisting of 2 armored combat vehicles and 1 tank. The operation reportedly begins with a Russian tank column moving across an open field unaware of the impending attack. Ukrainian fighters took up strategic positions in advance to ensure the effective surprise and maximum effectiveness of the attack. When the Russian column entered the affected area, Ukrainian forces immediately launched an attack. Artillery and FP drones were the first to enter the battle, unleashing a barrage of fire on the enemy. Artillery strikes were aimed at creating chaos and disorganization in the ranks of the enemy. FPA drones equipped with explosives accurately hit targets, destroying armor and disabling equipment. This soldier prepares to deliver the final blow with an RPG. A precision hit manages to burn the APC. The final target is a Russian tank. One shot from STNA, and the tank is destroyed. This tank is in a bad situation. More than 5 drones are flying towards it. After a couple of seconds, a few kamikaze drones do their job. There's a lot of explosives inside, which detonate one by one. An explosion of incredible force leaves behind nothing but ashes. The SA-5 gauntlet in an open area was also destroyed by a precise strike from the Ukrainian military. This SA-13 GO-PH-4 air defense system was attempted to be camouflaged in the trees, but the drone sees everything. The equipment was destroyed and continued to burn among the trees. This is a fairly rare Arctic SA-15 Gauntlet air defense system, worth about $50–160 million. Using a drone, the Ukrainian military targets it and fires a high-precision M9A2 Excalibur shell. A fire breaks out. The Russian soldiers try to extinguish the flames with a fire extinguisher but flee, realizing that the target is not yet fully destroyed and a follow-up strike is imminent. Their prediction comes true. The Ukrainians make another shoot. The shell lands near the equipment, creating a small moonlight crater visible from the drone. In an open area, 2 SA-7 Grizzly systems were detected. Each system is worth around $260 million. The Ukrainian military delivered 2 precise strikes. The systems began to burn and detonate. Most likely, the Russians did not expect this equipment to be targeted. Otherwise, they would have at least tried to hide it in the nearby tree line. There was excellent news from the Donetsk direction, namely, soldiers of the 109th Separate Territorial Defense Brigade and the Muramasa unit demonstrated the moment of destruction of a Russian armored K's truck of the Mustang model, transporting personnel and provisions near the village of Kresno Ora. The video reportedly begins with a Ukrainian FPD drone trying to catch up with a Russian armored truck that was carrying 12 people from a combat position to redeployment to the rear. The drone approaches, the target finds a weak spot and strikes the left wheel. As a result of the explosion, the wheel shatters into pieces and the truck is forced to stop. Without wasting any time, the Ukrainian military launches a second FP drone. This drone precisely targets the cab of the truck and strikes the driver and his passenger, who have not yet managed to leave the affected area. Meanwhile, the Russian soldiers in the back realize that their lives are under threat and rush to leave the car and scatter in different directions. And this APC isn't known for its high intelligence look. Russian vehicles are already resting on this place. The same fate befalls this APC. A brilliant decision. A similar situation, we see a lot of burned equipment on the way to the Russian tank. A few moments later, it spectacularly turns into molecules. Take another look at this fire chute. After that, another fat target is found. It's a well-hidden artillery installation. The drone hits it exactly. But here's the best part. The installation itself wasn't badly damaged, but the ammunition next to it is on fire. They're getting hotter and hotter, leading to an incredibly powerful explosion. This troll tank wasn't damaged by the mine. But there's a Ukrainian drone nearby. It hits the fuel compartment and stops the target. A second drone delivers the final blow. The tank is engulfed in flames. What a javelin missile hits an APC, which loses control and drives over mines. The attack is thwarted. Nearby, an Asia SP was spotted by Ukrainian intelligence. It couldn't hide from the drone. Just one hit to the ammunition, and we can observe a very powerful explosion. And here's what's left of another artillery system. Look how it happened. A few kamikaze drones cause a massive detonation. A very powerful and beautiful explosion. 30 kilometers from Donetsk, Ukrainian intelligence has detected several targets. The coordinates have been relayed to here's the HIMARS. First target is a Thor SAM. The Russians notice they're being spotted and fire on the drone. The shot misses. Now it's the American Beast's turn. Several shots successfully destroy the target. Another SAM, now it's a Panzer S1. The first shot seriously damages the machine, and the second missile burns it to the ground. A radar station was detected next. Several shots damaged the vehicle. Repairs will be very expensive for the Russians. Intelligence reports that this warehouse holds the invader vehicles. A shot from the HIMARS and several fat targets are destroyed. There's a target picture painted on the back of this tank. That's exactly where the Ukrainian drone hits it. The tank slowed down. The next drone hits it right in the turret. Now it's impossible to go any further. One more hit and the tank starts to burn. There's almost single-handedly stopped the Russian attack. Very accurate first shot and the target immediately ignites. The second shot hits the APC. It loses control and is engulfed in smoke. A Russian APC comes face to face with a Ukrainian drone. It immediately loses control and stops. A few minutes later, a group of drones turn this tin can into ashes. Reconnaissance has spotted the redeployment of a Russian Tulpin mortar, easy target for Ukrainian drones. The first hit stops the vehicle and causes a fire. Another hit, and from high above we see a huge mushroom from the explosion. Another group of tanks was spotted in the field. Ukrainian drones are ready to attack. The first hit is right in the side. The second drone stops the target. Russian reinforcements appear on the horizon. The drone stops the T-72. But the second tank breaks through. Now it's his turn. The first hit is right in the muzzle. But the target keeps moving. The second hit is fatal. The tank is stopped. The third drone turns it to ashes. The attack failed. The Ukrainians know how to root them out. A few well-placed bombs always come in handy. After such precise hits, the Russians have no chance of continuing their advance. But they still continue to send new tanks to advance. The video begins with 6 Russian soldiers entering the house of local residents, trying to hide from Ukrainian drones and not attract unnecessary attention on the street. However, their attempt to escape was unsuccessful, as a large number of cars parked near the house immediately attracted the attention of Ukrainian drone operators. An attack soon follows, where a CAX drone approaches the building and a powerful explosion occurs, destroying the hiding military. The attack doesn't end there. The next shot shows Ukrainian drone dropping explosive ammunition directly into a hole in the roof of one of the buildings, where Russian troops were also stationed. Precision bombing results in another explosion, causing significant damage to the enemy. In one of the episodes, AAM's drone attacks working equipment engaged in the construction of trenches and fortifications for Russian troops in the suburbs of Volyn. The explosion destroys the equipment, disrupting plans to strengthen defensive. Ahead, this APC awaits an unexpected surprise. Mines stop the advance. The group retreats on another flank. Russian tanks attack. They have already become targets. One of the tanks remains mobile and tries to escape. Kamikaze drone strikes the engine compartment. The tank remains mobile, and then another Ukrainian drone attacked its turret. After moving a bit more, the tank finally stops. The third breakout attempt, this time it's a T-90 tank. After the attack, the tank stops. A second Ukrainian drone hits the stopped tank. Now the Russian soldiers deploy a group of Frankenstein into battle. The Ukrainians manage to capture the second Russian tank in the video. Let's see if this add-on armor can protect the tanks. Ukrainians open fire with artillery. The group splits up. The first hit, the tank moves forward slightly and explodes on mines near a forest line. Excellent news from the Kherson direction, namely, Ukrainian aerial reconnaissance fighters demonstrated an impressive moment of attack on a Russian miniist that was transporting wounded military personnel to the rear to the first aid station. This trip was the last for them. The video begins with a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone spotting a Russian minibus, which is picking up wounded Russian soldiers near the contact line and taking them to the rear for rehabilitation. The attack was planned in 2 stages. The first of P drone attacks the minibus while it is still moving. An explosion occurs which forces the driver and passenger to quickly run out of the car to assess the extent of the destruction. The second Ukrainian FP drone is sent to finish off a Russian minibus inside of which there are wounded military personnel. This blow turns out to be more powerful and accurate. A second, stronger explosion occurs which significantly damages the vehicle. After the second impact, the driver and passenger try to reach a stretcher, possibly to save someone after the explosion from the Kurs in direction, namely, aerial reconnaissance fighters of the 1st Separate Battalion of the Marine Corps demonstrated the moment. When a Ukrainian FP CAMS drone launched a precise strike on a Russian vehicle containing the commanding staff of one of the units in the city of Nowa Kakaka. 3 people come out of a nearby building and get into a car. The car starts moving and heads towards the local bazaar. Ukrainian drone operators are aware of the need for caution to avoid civilian casualties. The car stops at the market and the 3 commanders and the driver remain inside. At this moment, the Ukrainian FP CAMS drone begins its mission. Operators carefully count.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
This is America's